good people, hello, how are you? Welcome to Suzy B, and if you are a new subscriber, karibu sana. If you've not subscribed and you are watching this video, make sure you subscribe and like the video, share to everyone. It's another day and we say thank you to God for everything He has done to us. I know we may be feeling that we are down, maybe emotionally, physically, financially, but we hope for the best. Yes, we hope for the best. Let's have faith in Him, and everything will be okay. So today I'm doing something different from the story time and let's chat and the comedy. I want to talk about the 5 great leaders in history. I know there were so many leaders, yeah, and I'll be reading here because I've done my research and I've written down here in this book. And I know there have been so many leaders in the history, but there are these 5 great leaders who their greatness made them stood out. Yani, what they did made them stood out. Yes. And I want you to listen carefully because we will differentiate what they did to the other leaders. Unajua? So, one, we will start with Julius Caesar. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about him. His name is Julius Caesar. This man, he was the most emulated and celebrated figure in history. The reason is he was a brilliant general. He was also a political mastermind and facilitated the end of republic and the birth of empire. He facilitated the end of republic and the birth of empire. Yeah. So this man, he deserved some serious street cred, but he was shot 23 times before dying. Imagine, he was shot 23 times before dying. So the key here is he was a brilliant general and he was also a political mastermind and facilitated the end of republic and the birth of the empire. So that's what made him great. So guys, you can also do your research about it if you want to know more about him. If you want to know more about his story, yes, you can Google, you can use your Google. So his name was Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar. And the second man is the man that we know. His name, okay, we've heard about him, sana. His name is George Washington. George Washington. I know most of you know who he was, but let me give you a bit of his history. George Washington, he held a ragtag army together through the Revolutionary War and played a key role in defending the greatest empire of the day. Yes, that's George Washington. What made Washington stand out as a leader is that after the war, a person of his stature and fame could easily navigate their way into the role of monarch for life. But Washington was dedicated to the idea of a republic and refused to become more than a civilian leader. He was the first president of US. Sawa. He was the first president of US. So what made him stand out is as a leader is that after the war, a person of his stature and fame could easily navigate their way into the role of monarch, I don't know how you pronounce it, for life. But Washington was dedicated to the idea of republic and refused to become more than a civilian leader. That's what made him great, as in what made him stood out. And if you want to know more about him, just go and search about George Washington. He was the first president of US. The first president of US. I know we've heard so much about him. We've heard so much about George Washington, but this is what made him stood out. So the third person, it's Napoleon Bonaparte. Don't know if Bonaparte or Bonaparte, it has an E, mwisho. So Napoleon Bonaparte. What made Napoleon Bonaparte stood out? Let's see. Yes, let's see, guys. So what made Napoleon great were his qualities of military genius. Perseverance, and contagious enthusiasm. Haya, for victory. Say what you will of his supposedly diminutive size, but the dude practically conquered all the Europe. After he was deposed and exiled to Corsica, he secretly returned to France and retailed the army back to his course. Unasikia? After he was, let me read that again. After he was deposed and exiled to Corsica, he secretly returned to France and retailed her army back to his course. He almost went on another unstoppable rampage, but the Battle of Waterloo shut him down. This time, the British took no chance and exiled him to a small island of the coast Africa. You understand? What made him stood out, what made him great is because he came back after he was exiled. He returned secretly, and he returned secretly and took his army back to his course. Akachukua the army back to his course. So that's what made him great. So if you want to know more about Napoleon Bonaparte, you can just Google him. I'm saying this because I'm giving you the details. I'm not telling you everything about him, but I'm giving the details of why he became a great leader, why he stood out among the 5 great leaders. So make sure you Google if you want to know more. Number 4 is Abraham Lincoln. I know you've heard about this guy, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, one trait that makes a leader stand out is integrity, bravery, and calm in the face of fire. It takes a lot of leader skills to hold a country together through civil war, but even more skills to help it heal and reconcile after the war is over. Let me repeat that. It takes a lot of leader skills to hold a country together through a civil war, but even more skills to help it heal and reconcile after the war is over. Lincoln, 16th president of US, he was the 16th president of US, was also a great orator with firm resolution and belief in the American ideals promulgated by the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So what made him great is he was able to hold the country together through the Civil War, but also he had the skills to help it heal and reconcile after the war was over. You understand? So that's what made him stood out, and he was integrity and bravery. He was so brave because some leaders, okay, we know what some leaders do. Yes, in case there is any war or there is anything that's happening in a country, many won't be able to hold it back. You understand? To hold it back to where it was. Okay, even if it's not where it was, but close to where it was. So that's what made him stand out. His name was Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. The last leader is Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, he was, I guess, an Indian. Yes. Not I guess, he was an Indian. Yes. So, it's pretty hard to win a battle with guns, tanks, and planes, but seemingly impossible to win it without firing a single shot. Gandhi led India against the rule of the British and preached ideas of non-violence, instead leveraging the power of protest and boycotting. What makes Gandhi stand out as a leader is his commitment, peace, and his belief in the values of human life. Okay, he didn't believe in fights, as in you fight with guns, you fight with the battles. He believed in he preached ideas of non-violence. He preached ideas of non-violence and leveraging the power of protest and boycotting. So here is the key. What makes Gandhi stand out as a leader is commitment of peace and his belief in the value of human life. The commitment of peace, he wanted peace, he believed in peace, and the value of human life. The value of human life. He really valued human life, because if there was a war and you come and fight, yeah, you see people will die, you know, others will get injured. But he believed in peace. Yes, peace. So he tried to talk it out, to do some demonstration of peace, and then he valued them, the human life. So that's what made these leaders so great. I know there are so many leaders. I know there are so many we've read about, but this is what those are the keys that I have repeated over and over and over. Those are the keys that made these leaders stood out. They made them be great, or the things they did were so great, you know. Those were the key. And if you wanna search more about these leaders, you can just go to Google and search. So don't forget, number one, we had Julius Caesar. 2, George Washington. 3, Napoleon Bonaparte. Bonaparte. 4, Abraham Lincoln. 5, Mahatma Gandhi. So don't forget, guys, to Google about them. Don't forget everything I've told you about them. Yeah, they were so great leaders. Najua hivyo nimewaambia, hata nyinyi wenyewe mnaona the things they did, yeah, made them great. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to me. Thank you so much, guys, for being there. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Keep on supporting, keep on subscribing to Suzy B, keep on liking, and keep on sharing. If you watch this video from where it starts to the end, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you share. Just press the share button. Share it to maybe your friends, share it to your WhatsApp status, share it to everywhere you want to share it, and I will be glad, and God bless you. God bless you, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.